What's up, guys? So we have received some requests about a beginner snatch video. Obviously, the best way to learn the Olympic lifts, in my opinion, and some of the coaches I work with, would be an in-person coach. However, that is not possible at this time, and it's not always possible when you find a coach that you really enjoy. So we are going to demo what we do when we onboard athletes to teach them how to snatch and snatch progressions. I have my assistant, Lauren, here. She is one of our athletes, one of our youth lifters. So before we get started ever touching a barbell, we do want to make sure that our hips, our low back, our ankles and knees are warm. And with the snatch in particular, our shoulders, elbows, etc. So we're going to do a low back warm-up that we came up with. We've been putting it in some of our plyometric videos too, because I believe that it's a pretty good warm-up. So we're going to start with 10 good morning to squats. So Lauren will demo it. You hinge forward and then squat straight down and then back up. So just 10 of those. You want to make sure to reach forward. We don't want the back to excessively round, so just nice flat back and slow and steady through those. After 10 of those, you're going to lay down on the ground and you will do 8 single leg hip thrusts. We're going to pause 2 seconds at the top and 2 seconds at the bottom. Notice that this leg can just float there. It stays there. It doesn't do anything. All of our movement is in our hips. After that, we'll get back up. 6 three-way lunges. So go rear lunge first. There you go. And then we'll go Cossack or side lunge. And then forward lunge. So 6, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after that leg, you'll switch to the other side. Okay? After our lunges, we have 4 deep squats with a rotational twist, or a sky reach as we call it. So right there, there we go. Chest stays up nice and tall, and we rotate up and open that chest towards either wall. So 4 per side. And then to finish off, to get a little bit of warm blood flowing through the body and get our heart rate up, we have 2 sun salutations. So we'll start with a back bend, arch back, slow forward fold, plant the hands on the ground, step or jump back to a plank, push up into an up dog, pause there for a second, then push back, butt straight to the air to a down dog, pause there for a second, then step or walk, the feet back into the hands, reverse swan dive up, and finish there. So we'll have 2 of those. So to repeat that, that is 10 squat to good mornings, 8 single leg hip thrusts per leg with a pause at the top and at the bottom, 6 three-way lunges. You can add a pause there if you need to get a little extra stretch in your hips, knees, or ankles. We have 4 deep squat with a sky reach, and then 2 sun salutations. So after that, make sure you do anything that you would normally do in your warm-up, so anything that makes you feel ready to go, anything you do maybe before a CrossFit workout or a high-intensity workout, before you even touch a PVC pipe or bar. If you're lucky enough to have a bar at home, we'll show you some stuff with the bar right after this, but everybody, we always start with a PVC pipe and we do these slow traces. I learned these when I went to a training camp in Ukraine. They say they do it with all their youth lifters and even some of their advanced athletes on technique days might use, obviously the Olympians use a bar or lightweight, but we're just going to use a PVC pipe. So she'll start there. These are called slow snatch traces. So we're going to do 2 sets of 10. It's a very slow motion. So we'll start in the bottom where the bar normally is. Now with plates on it, you'll notice that the bar is right about mid-shin. Okay, so we'll always start mid-shin and we'll slowly trace up to the hip, exaggerating our motion, shrug tall, and then we pull into the bar, slow squat, and stand up. Okay, so a couple things to note while Lauren does this. 1 is that the bar is at mid-shin level. Okay? 2 is that as we come up, we actually pull our knees back out of the way. Our toes still stay down, but you'll notice that when she comes up, she doesn't pull the bar around her body, but she pulls her knees back and keeps that bar path in a straight line. If you're having trouble with that when you start to do these, we just have this little contraption that we've made that you can have anything that goes in front of you, just to make sure that you're pulling back out of the way and keeping that bar super close to the body. Positioning is the most important thing, especially when you're learning the Olympic lifts. It's not that you might lack the strength, it's that you lack the strength in those positions, those specific positions to these movements. Another thing to note is that her knuckles are pulled down, right? So we don't want the bar out here because it's in our fingertips. So we pull that down, we engage the wrist, and the elbows follow. So we have long, straight arms as we begin the pull to the hip, and then we come back. Last thing to note is that before she starts to pull on the bar with her arms, she's completed the motion to the hip before she starts to pull under. Okay, so a little bit of rest. So we have 2 sets of 10 there, slow motion. It might be 3 or 4 seconds up, 3 or 4 seconds down, just to ingrain those positions before we ever get started with the barbell. Once we're done with these, we will go to a snatch complex. Now this snatch complex is all from the hip, the top position or our power position, where we leave to do the snatch. So this is probably the hardest position to get down, as we want the foot as flat as possible, and we still want this rebend to happen here. And so we start top down, or at least I teach top down for the snatch positioning. So she'll grab her bar, Lauren will grab her bar, and we'll start with 3 snatch high pulls from this power position. So she'll dip and then drive straight up. Dip, drive straight up. Note that the power comes from her hips, not from her arms. So the hips push the bar into the air. We follow with high elbow as we finish. So 3 there, and then we'll go 3 hip muscle snatch. So she's just going to follow through that pull. So hip, and then drive straight up. There we go. Big strong punch at the top and reach. Hip, straight up. Good. One more there. And now here's where we start to get a little bit of foot motion in there. We're going to do a hip power plus a tempo overhead squat. So she's going to dip, and then jump, and then slow on the way down. Good. So if you have a problem with your overhead squat, I would suggest pausing in the bottom of this overhead squat. So again, dip, and slow on the way down. So you can do this with a bar. You can still do this with a PVC pipe. You add some sand in here, or even a weighted bar, like a metal bar. But you don't need a lot of weight for these. The goal is positioning. The goal is speed. The goal is to focus on the little things that are going to make a big difference as you learn these motions. So for this complex, it's 3 sets of 3 hip high pulls, 3 hip muscle snatch, and 3 hip power snatch, plus a tempo overhead squat. Okay? So once we're done with that, we will then go down to the ground. If you have weights, great. If you don't, remember you just start at the mid-shin, and we'll do a snatch deadlift to a hip. So again, the hip, that's the important position, but now we're coming from the bottom up. So we'll do a snatch deadlift. We'll do 1 second up, make sure to pull back, and pause. 2, 3, and 3 seconds on the way down, just to learn that motion, to ingrain that movement pattern in those positions. It's all about this, all about the positions at the shin, at the knee, and at the hip. So we have snatch deadlift to hip, 2 sets of 6 to 8 reps, 1 up, 2 pause, 3 down. To finish off, just for a little mobility, just to get comfortable with it, if you can, we will do a SOTS press. If not, you will do an overhead squat hold. So you'll take the bar, pop it on your back. You will go down into a squat position. And if you can, SOTS press chest straight up, and you press straight up. So nice and controlled, pausing at the top, pausing at the bottom. It's a great way to get that overhead squat, that bottom position comfortable. If you cannot do this, you will do an overhead squat hold. So same thing, place the bar in the back, pop it up overhead, and you will tempo down and hold, just staying tall, breathing through the position. SOTS press, overhead squat hold. If you decide to do SOTS press, you'll finish with 2 sets of 6 to 8. If you decide to do an overhead squat hold, you will do 2 sets of 30 to 45 seconds. All right, so this is our video for a beginner snatch program. Again, like I said, if you have the chance to get to an in-person coach after gyms open back up, I will put a link down here to our Oklahoma weightlifting page where all the Oklahoma clubs that teach Olympic style weightlifting are listed on. You can reach out to one near you or a coach near you. If not, check these videos out and then maybe reach out to a coach to see if you can get some online programming. Hope you guys liked the video. Like, subscribe, comment, and make sure to follow us on Instagram at Pure Health Performance, or if you want to follow the Oklahoma Weightlifting page, it's at Oklahoma Weightlifting, and we will put that there too. See you guys next time.